Hello everyone, welcome to 12am coding. So today we will be learning about a very important topic in Python, which is self keyword. So we see this self keyword a lot in programming in Python coding, but there are lots of misconceptions about it. So today we'll be clearing it and we'll be understanding how it works and what it is. So for example, I'll be having one class. Okay, let's say this class is fruit for now, and I'm not putting anything into this fruit. I'm just writing pass, which means it's an empty class. It is not having anything. And for example, I'll be creating the instance of this particular class, let's say fruit1, and I can initialize it as fruit. Okay. And then in this fruit1, I want to give it a name actually. For example, f1.name will be your, let's say apple. And let's say for f1, there will be price also. So I can put price also 200. And in the same way, for example, let me copy this particular code and we are having the fruit2 also. Okay. And this fruit2 name will be, let's say, orange, and we are having the price as 100. So what we have just done, we have just instantiated this fruit f1 and f2, and we entered some data into it in the name and price variable. Now if I want to access any of the variable of any of the fruit, then I can simply print that name I want to take it. So I can just simply do it, and it is showing apple as my fruit1 is apple. And if let's say f2 dot name, then it will be printing the orange actually. Okay, simple. Now the thing is that we have created one class, and we have created the objects also of that class, multiple objects, but we are putting this data manually. So if let's say you need to put 50 fruits, then it will be very overhead, right? So what we can do rather than this, in Python we are having one function which is known as init actually. Okay, so I'll be explaining you what it is. So what we can do, we can just create one function which is init. Okay, and this init, if you see, it is taking self. Okay, so we'll be understanding what this self is. Just for now, bear with me. So I am adding two variables into this init function, as it is behaving as a constructor here. Okay, so I am adding my price and name, and what I'll be doing, I am doing self dot name equals to name, and then self dot price equals to my price here. Okay, so what it is doing exactly, that whenever any object of this fruit class will be created, then this constructor will be called, this init function will be called, and this is having the pointer to the instance of that particular class which you are creating. So let me tell you how it will be done. So I'm deleting this particular code here, and now I'll be writing f1 equals to fruit, and in this fruit I can put two things, name and price. So this particular argument, it just for show here. It, this we do not need to pass from anywhere as a parameter, right? So we can just pass a name here, okay, and the price. And in the same way, for example, we are having one more fruit which is f2, and let's say orange, and your orange is price 100. Okay, so what it is exactly doing, so the self will be pointing to f1 in this particular case, and in the second object our self will be pointing to f2. So I'll be showing you, if we do this print here, and for example f1 dot name. So if we run this particular code, if you see, it's giving apple, because f1 knows that whenever the initialization of this particular class happened and object got created f1, then this apple and 200 got sit into name and price for f1 actually in the memory, and this self is pointing to f1. And if we do f2, then this self will be pointing to f2 fruit, and it is printing orange. Okay, so it is as simple as that. Okay, now there is one more thing. For example, you are having one function here, okay, in our class. So let's understand this also. Let's say it is name and price. It is just to get the name and price. Okay, and in this also I'll be putting self here, because let's say this name and price you want to get for that particular object. So I'll be showing you, let's say return, and in this return what I'll be doing, I'll be returning the name and self dot name, and then self dot price actually, 1 minute, dot price. Okay, and then we are returning this one. So for example, if I want to get this particular data, and if I say f1 dot name and price, okay, as this is a function, so if I run this particular code now, if you see, we are getting apple and 200 as a concatenated, because we are just sending self dot name. So whenever I am calling this particular function in the beginning, what happened, this f1 got initialized for the fruit, and in this name and price for this particular self f1, these values got put, okay, automatically. And when I'm calling f1 dot name and price, so it knows actually this self is pointing to f1 currently, okay. And then self dot name will be your apple and self dot price will be your apple price. In the same way, if I put f2 here, then it will be giving me orange and 100, okay. So it's as simple as that. Now there is one more thing, let me comment this particular line. And for the with the class name also you can access this particular function, name and price, okay. So with the class name, if you run this particular code now, it is giving some error, okay. And the error is missing one positional argument self, because it is not aware about this particular self, right? It is not aware about. So what does it means? That whenever we are calling name and price, now we are not defining any of the self instance for that one, right? Any object we are not passing. So it doesn't know that which name and price of which object it need to print. So if we pass the object here, for example, if I am passing F1 name and fruit, automatically this will detect it and it will print apple and 200. And in the same way, if we do F1 and F2, it will be giving you orange and 100, okay. So it's as simple as that, okay. Now the thing is, there is one more thing, this name doesn't matter here. Like this name you can put anything, let's say fruit also I can put. So first argument of this particular function, it will be taking it as that name, but recommendation in Python is we should keep self actually, okay. So self is nothing but it is a pointer to that particular object for which you are creating the instance of that particular class, okay. So you can name it as this or whatever you want, okay. In the same way in Java we are having the this keyword, right? So this works like that. So yeah, that's it for this particular tutorial. If you are having any doubts, you can mention in the comment section. So for now, see you and thank you.